Hey there, I want you to follow and subscribe to my new Substack at The Naked Truth Steve, at The Naked Truth Steve. It's a place where I can extrapolate on the week's podcast episodes, go a little bit deeper. You can get my current free post, Are Gay Sex Spaces More Healing Than We Admit? Plus, I will be dropping another free post. We need our sexual mistakes on bad sex, broken hearts, questionable choices, and the experiences that teach us who we are. Then on Thursday, if you feel so inclined, grab and subscribe to my paid posts. I will be posting every other week. This week's What I Was Really Looking For in the Dark Room. Turns out the sex was only part of it. I love this space to extrapolate on the podcast and to go deeper for you. Check it out at The Naked Truth Steve, at The Naked Truth Steve on Substack, or get the link on show notes. Follow and subscribe. What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 781. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Lincoln. How you doing, Lincoln?
I'm doing great. How are you guys tonight?
Very, very good. Thank you so much. Summertime over in Atlantic City, the one and only Cody Maurice Doggett. How you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. You know, gambling my life away. No, I'm not. I don't even gamble. So I'm just spending time with family. So I'm doing well. Thank you.
I love it. Okay. Well, I wanted to get into it today because there is a new movie, Gregg Araki, who's made a lot of films, queer cinema in the 90s and throughout the years, has a brand new movie that I really want to see called I Want Your Sex. Have you guys heard of it? Olivia Wilde is in. Yeah, it sounds really good. He spent his career making movies about people who are horny, confused, reckless, heartbroken. I Want Your Sex arrives at a moment when we supposedly talk about sex more openly than ever, but may actually be having less of it, taking fewer emotional risks and becoming more afraid of doing or saying the wrong thing. Araki seems to be asking whether we have confused safety with never being uncomfortable, whether we are trying so hard to avoid bad relationships, awkward sex, and broken hearts that we are also avoiding the experience that teaches us what we want. So, and in the movie, it follows Elliot, a sexually frustrated young man who becomes the erotic muse and submissive of his powerful artist, Erica, played by Olivia Wilde. It uses their BDSM relationship to explore desire, anxiety, workplace power, and a younger generation's uncertainty about sex. But in a recent interview, he said that he basically was saying Gen Z is not having a lot of sex. Not all of them, but a lot of them are not. Is Gen Z genuinely more sexually conservative, or are they simply more cautious, communicative, and aware of the consequences? Is the question that I've heard about Gen Z, and how they're, his point, Cody, is that they're really not getting out there and making those mistakes that we did back in the day that, in his opinion, and really mine, are really necessary attributes of growing up. What do you say to Gen Z in this phenomenon that, and his argument?
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely think it's something that is probably harming Gen Z because they're, I don't know, I can't predict why. I don't know why, but part of me feels like maybe because we as a society has been oversexed for so long. I feel like 80s, 90s, 2000s were all like it's sex was starting to sell and it just got more and more pervasive and more risque. So I think maybe that bubble had to pop. And now things are going back to being a little bit more conservative. It's just like with the technology bubble. A lot of these younger people, I was going to say kids, but a lot of these younger people are going back to more quote unquote archaic forms of technology, cell phones that are T9 texting and all of these things. So I think that might be part of it, but I'm sure there are other factors that factor into this, but I do agree that those things are necessary. Messing up, making mistakes as far as sex is concerned. I agree that it's completely necessary. It's hard because trust me, I have been there. I've been in relationships where you've been hurt and you're scared to jump back into the fire pit that is romantic dating, and so that experience has taught me what I want out of a relationship, but it also makes going back into a relationship scary. So I get it, but it's something that needs to be done. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Do you want to weigh in, Lincoln?
Sure. Well, first of all, is he talking about gay sex or straight sex or just sex overall?
He's gay. The movie isn't a gay relationship, but he's talking about Gen Z in general. And some of it is bleeding into queer, how we act as queer society as well. So it's bleeding into both, really.
Okay, because I was trying to look up. He was just on Bill Maher this last Friday. There's a guy that's wrote a few books about this. How young straight men are gaming with video games at
Yeah.
home more than they're out meeting girls and at bars. And this is
Girl.
a phenomenon that's been going on for over 5 years now, that
Yeah.
our men have kind of lost their straight men. I don't know about gay men, but
Uh huh.
that's just, he says men overall. He doesn't necessarily differentiate straight or gay, says that they've kind of lost their ability to interact with the opposite sex or with the same sex in that way. And there's actually a big deficit of men out there on the prowl and trying to build a relationship and be responsible by being in check with another human being. Like, it's a
Yeah.
big problem.
Yeah, there's a bunch of projects. I know who you're talking about. Michael Smirkanish has
He's so good too.
the Mingle project that is all about really encouraging people to get out there more.
His name, by the way, is Scott Galloway. So if
Scott
anyone wants to
Galloway,
do a little
love
further
him.
reading, he's written some books that are amazing about this topic.
Yeah, he is on. He has a couple of podcasts out there. Carl
Correct.
Schwiffer and all those really good. And I think what Gregg Araki is also talking about, and he was in a recent interview where he was talking, Lincoln, about all those mistakes he made, all the heartbreak, the breakups, the sex he had were all needed to grow, and that if there really is this deficit of people not connecting, whether it's sexually or, as you say, not getting out there and talking to people and connecting, then what happens when you're 40, 50 and this was your new recipe? Are you going to look back and say, I don't have like a body of work, so to speak, to draw upon? Do you think that we're in danger of a whole generation, some of them, that may look back and have regrets?
1,000,000%. Our culture, especially around this, is completely changing. The latest statistic is that more people are smoking weed than are drinking alcohol. People are not out drinking and having that social lubricant and meeting people. They're either in their phones or behind a screen playing a game, or just don't even have any interest in it. It's really sad because it is going to change our society and how people look at their lives. They don't even know. Like we say that all the time. I don't think a lot of people know in our generation, Steve, if you went out and you met someone and you walked away and you didn't get their number, you never saw them. You
Yeah.
couldn't
Right.
find them on an app or in Instagram, or, you hoped that they were there next week. And that doesn't even happen anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even when the internet started, remember missed connections, Craigslist, and
Yep.
you could at least go on there, or dare I say, you would put an ad in a newspaper on what you were looking for, and you had
Yep.
to wait to see. I mean, that seems so long ago, but it's kind of how
Col-
yeah.
Coleman Domingo has a great story of how he met his husband. And it's like right in that world of a
Mhm.
misconnection and looking in the paper, and like he ran into him on a street. It was crazy. It's a great story.
Cody,
It doesn't
Greg,
happen.
Greg's talking, arguing that getting your heart broken is valuable. That painful experience teach us things which cannot be learned through theory or perfect decision making. Do you have any romantic mistakes that you have taught you over the years about yourself? I do, and I'll just share mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely do. It's
I
talking
know you think I'm
about
always picking on you, but I mean, I have mine for
no,
sure.
I don't.
That giggle, I'm always like, it's not directed at you per
No,
se. I
because
will
I know you
share.
know that I do have. That's why I was
Well,
laughing.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. Yeah, I definitely have things that I even like recently. I've had things that I've seen from my interactions with other people that I know don't potentially want to rehash again. I know there's no replacing the experience of being in a relationship. There's no or doing things right in real time, because you can think, you can theorize about things as much as you possibly want. It's no replacing being in the action, being in the moment, actually being in love. Oh man, it is crazy work. It's going, your emotions are going all over the place. So I but it teaches you a lot. It teaches about what you want from life, what you want from a relationship, what you the dynamics you don't care to repeat. And there's so many things out there that you can't possibly, you think you know yourself, and then you get in a relationship and it tests you in ways that you can't even recognize or that you would even think would be the consideration. And it just teaches you so much about yourself.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
almost like notches in your belt, right? You need those. People always say, "Oh, don't go into a relationship until you're emotionally ready." But then, when is that? You would never get into a relationship. Lincoln, it's funny. I didn't watch Schitt's Creek when it originally aired, and I'm now with Diego binging it and laughing hysterically. I don't know if either one of you
So
watched
good.
it,
I love
but I'm
Schitt's
on
Creek.
one of
Hmm.
the episodes where David, the son, is opening up his boutique, and he has an investor, and the guy is interested in him, and they kiss, and he realizes that the the guy that kissed him has never kissed anyone, never been in a relationship, and they're like in their 30s, right? And so it made me think, all it would be hard to be with somebody that has never been in a relationship, had all those experiences before. I mean, Diego and I come into our relationship with a lot of past baggage, if you will, to the relationship, and it's helping and navigate our marriage. When you think about all those past experiences that you've had throughout the years, would you take it away, all those romances and heartbreaks and all of it?
None of them. And some of them were extremely painful
Hmm.
and really bad decision making in hindsight and frustrating beyond belief. And that was why, I know I've talked about this on this show before, I had to take a real break from relationships for a good 3 to 4 years just to center back my mind, because that can also be really helpful when you've been through
Yeah.
something really hard. But yeah, that's what makes me the person I am today. Just like your friendships, right? Just like your
Yes.
family, they're all the same. Love is the same across the board.
Yeah. I mean, if he is, Cody, arguing that all of these things are needed, they're valuable, those experiences. When we move into sexual experiences that we've had, can you think
Okay.
of things that maybe were disappointed, awkward in your sexual experiences, but that you learned from?
Definitely. There's so many. There's so many. I've been disappointed by so many men. No. Yeah, just, you know what? Probably my biggest takeaway from a lot of my sexual experiences, except for like the ones where I'm like, maybe I never want to do that again. And that's here, neither here nor there. And it's just like you take that L and you're like, moving forward, I'm never going to want to, I don't even know if there's anything that I don't want to do anymore. But that my biggest takeaway from those types of things are uh, getting too emotionally wrapped up with somebody in sex the first couple times. So that, like, not being able to not do that in sexual experiences now, that is what I have learned and what has benefited my life the most, and having those kinds of sexual experiences, and just and letting it be what it is when it is. And that for me is my biggest takeaway. Like, maybe I want to change my mind and have the flavor of the month. Maybe I want to piss in somebody's mouth down the
Uh-huh.
line. I do it, but that was the first thing that came to my mouth. I mean, my mind. So yeah, so that was my biggest takeaway. Everything else is kind of negotiable, and we'll see if I want to do it down the line. But that right there is invaluable.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have a new Substack out at the Naked Truth, Steve, and my current paid post is called "What I Was Really Looking For in the Dark Room."
Mm.
Subtitle is "The Sex Was Only Part of It," and I document when I went to my first sex club. I say it was a block away from me. It couldn't have been more convenient. And I document what it was like and the feeling walking down this staircase, which is now a club, by the way, Rawhide, that is switched over to Rawhide, but it was a sex club before. And all those times I went and what I learned from them, where today I don't feel like I can go into a dark room, but I don't need that space anymore. But it helped me grow sexually and mature. And I got that kind of out of my system. I still like those spaces, but it was needed at the time. But what about you, Lincoln, sexually speaking, that you learned from all those years that maybe it's not you now, but that were needed to maybe bring into your relationship now with Peter?
Yeah, back in the day, having bathroom sex or backroom sex was a completely different world than the life I was living. And we're talking about the late 80s, not,
Yeah.
a long time ago, where you had a separate life, and you were also scared of AIDS and HIV, and it was just a completely different life. I think that made me more conservative in my relationships. And then I had like that second life of what I was also doing. And because there was a lot of secrecy around all that, when my relationships broke up, I couldn't be honest with myself about what I was doing that my partner didn't know, that my partner did know, and what my family knew and what they didn't know. So when all of that came crashing down, it was a lesson to be so honest with my life that I could be on a Seth's podcast, you know,
Yeah.
40 years later or
Yeah.
whatever. So not 30 years later, and not feel that shame or that conservative strain of me so much, and take it for what it is. But that whole world has really shifted with me and Peter being together. You talked about this earlier, coming together and really having a lot of your own baggage. Peter didn't have a lot of experiences with relationships.
Okay.
He's been a retail queen his whole life, nervous about HIV AIDS, not really open, kind of shy. So he really doesn't have, we don't come with the same amount of baggage in that area.
Mm.
Which is because I've played it out. It's not that important to me anymore. And to him, it's like a curiosity. So we're slowly, opening that bag from time to time and experiencing new things together. But it's very different than any timeline I could have predicted.
Yeah. Wow. So,
Wow.
when Steve was talking about it earlier, the thing that jumped right into my mind was, if I didn't have the experiences that I had and somebody else had had them, I would be incredibly, insanely jealous. And I would want to do it and have that experience as well. So I can understand that, or I can kind of like understand that need to kind of, I don't know if fill that space are the right
FOMO.
words,
FOMO,
but
that's what Greg is also talking about is will they, Gen Z,
huh?
maybe 40, 50, have FOMO for all those years that they didn't, and not every Gen Zer, but the ones that have been documented as going on record saying that, they're not connecting, they're not having sex. Will they have that FOMO, kind of what you're talking about? And I guess Peter would be a good example. He's experiencing it through your lens now, but doesn't seem to have regrets either, correct?
No, he doesn't. I mean, a little bit, but he realizes that he gets to do that now and kind of live through what I've been through and we talk about, and what we talk, what we experience now. We're also at a different time in our maturity. You know
Hmm.
Yeah,
what I mean? It doesn't have the same magic for me anymore either. I've kind of grown out of a lot of that behavior, but I wouldn't say grow out of, I've grown through it. And
Yeah.
it's sad to me because it is a big crisis that we're not having the younger kids do that. And I know it's not all of them. We keep prefacing it by
I
saying
know,
not
I
all of
know,
them.
I know,
But it's
because
still, just because it's not all of them doesn't mean it's a majority of them, because it has been documented that it is a crisis. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
not, and anyone who is any generation can see the difference between meeting people in person and swiping left or swiping right. I mean,
yeah,
if you don't have the know-how that those are two very different experiences
right.
and that they're going to affect you, then we have an even bigger problem. You know what I mean?
What's He took inspiration from the song. It's called "I Want Your Sex," and George Michael is an inspiration in this film, but also Madonna in the '90s and queer cinema. But Madonna, particularly the Sex Book and Erotica album, and I thought that was really cool. But when you talk about America today, he connects sexual repression with kind of a broader social and political, I don't know, dysfunction, presenting sexual freedom as part of queer resistance rather than merely personal pleasure. That right now, America, remains obsessed or scared of sex. And there's a whole thing in there where in 90s queer cinema, he talks about we explored more and we're kind of, I think there's a need for this right now to basically explore sexuality right now. We are in a puritanical America right now. Would you not agree, Cody?
I think that they want it to be like that. I think a lot of people that are in charge now they don't necessarily want it to be puritanical or have this kind of like purity thing that's going on. That I think that the people in charge have shown that they are not pure in any shape or manner, and they just wanted to have that facade, and the facade is very important to them. But I hear what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the question, Lincoln, why is America simultaneously obsessed with sex and terrified of it? I would have put ageism in there as well. And as we were going to do a hot topic later, but we kind of can throw it in right now. One of my favorite nighttime soap opera villainess of all times is Donna Mills. I loved her in the 80s, and she just started her OnlyFans at 85, and I'm
Wow.
so excited for her. And she wants to connect with her fans, and she'll see how far she goes. When pressed by TMZ, Harvey Levin, well, what if your fans want to see more provocative imagery? She says, I'll make that decision when I get there. But I don't know. She said, I just want to create and put stuff out there. That is so invigorating to me. But when you think of America, why are we obsessed with sex and terrified of it here in America?
I don't think anything's changed. I think we haven't grown that much. I think now we just have a wider lens on what everyone's doing, and people are very much in their silos. Back in the 70s, the liberation of all that, and people railed against it, and people were fighting for it. And then it happened in the 80s when TV came a little bit more mainstream, and people, again, when MTV hit, people were either freaking out that it was the best thing ever or conservative that it was the end of our world. I think it's happened in every single generation. And
Yeah.
I do think we have the same hypocrisy when it comes to guns. All of the most, you know, popular movies are the most violent movies. Yet we're against guns and killing one another, but it doesn't balance out. I think it's just our country. It's a
I think
big
it's our,
country.
yeah, Cody, I was at the Naked Beach last week, Sandy Hook, Gunnison, and it was interesting because, of course, the gay section was removed to one area, which I love, and the straight section isn't, go through it. Well, my friend and I took a walk, and when we were walking to the straight section, nude as well, there was a huge amount of America flags just everywhere that a lot of the straights felt the need to put there. And we couldn't help but notice them and think, okay, MAGA, like even naked, that you still have to prove that you're American. And it's kind of the nature that we're in right now. It's this dissonance between acceptance or like wanting sex, but it's a puritanical moment and we have to prove that we're American too. It's so divided.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I mean, at least they didn't have their mega hats on. I'm not against the flag at all, but I think now it carries some other connotations or subtle subliminal messages that are in there about uh, what America has come to mean in these recent years. So yeah, I see it. I would have been a little bit taken aback as well. But I mean, we're all American too. So, you take the good with the bad, and the the shit is rising to the top right now. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. So
Yeah. Araki really was it was called the new queer cinema era in the 90s that he kind of led up, but it was followed by a lot of other queer, filmmakers at the time, an era for films that were sexually fluid, stylistically confrontational, and uninterested in making queer people respectable. So his return, 12-year feature film Absence, has been framed as both a revival of that provocative sensibility and a challenge to today's more cautious sexual climate. But I guess it begs the question, Lincoln, has queer cinema become too polished or tasteful over the years, like today? Even in the wake of shows like Heated Rivalry, where we're seeing pretty much explicit sex, or Pillion, where Dom sub relationship, there's still a lack thereof. Or how do you see it?
I think our queer cinema has become as diverse as our community. There are a lot of different films of a lot of different people's sexual journey. They're out there. There's a whole section on Hulu and on Netflix and all that of queer cinema. And if the whole, what is it, 20% of our world is gay, right? Let's just pretend like that's the right number. Some people say
Yeah.
it's 10%, some people say it's 20. Well, for that amount of people, we can always have more. And there's as many stories to tell, right, as there are people.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's too polished. I don't know. I don't, I just like good movies. I don't always go,
Yeah.
is there a queer movie?
I think you have to search a little bit harder, but you're right. You listed a lot of platforms where there is a plethora of options out there, and it's refreshing, I think, to see a lot of this. I was pointing out to my sister that Pillion didn't focus on the parents of the son weren't worried that he was gay or not gay. They were more worried about him finding a partner. And I thought that was so
yeah.
refreshing that we've moved past the coming out story, Cody, on being, that coming out experience. And we've now moved into storytelling. And whether that's seen sexually on screen or not, I feel it's a nice era to see a lot of these stories being told. But how do you see it right now, the way our queer stories are being told?
Oh, definitely. I think that that's very refreshing that they didn't even have to experience or even show the whole coming out phase because I can see how it could be a benefit, but there are so many movies out there about that already. So it's really refreshing that we actually get to see us living life as queer people. So that part I'm definitely down for. But I mean, there's always room for more queer stories out there, and I feel like a lot of times the movies, we're not necessarily in like a movie type of culture anymore. I think a lot of it is on television too, and we have so many things that are on television not right now. Heated Rivalry. There's so many other things that I can't like recall right this moment, but that was the one that popped right into my head. So I think because television has kind of taken over just a little bit, that it's good that we have the representation there as well.
I agree. I'm just asking Diego, what's the show we should see after Heated that he saw? There's some show that somebody was telling us we should watch. Pride. I think it's called Pride, and it looks really good. But he'll confirm that. Oh my gosh, let's continue this conversation over on our Tags Patreon community. I do want to see this film. I Want Your Sex. It's out. I think it's out now, and it looks really good and bringing up a lot of questions on baby the different dynamics of how we express ourselves sexually, and I'm really looking forward to that. But we have got to get into hot topics, and we had to talk about Gay Heaven, Lincoln, when Madonna and Kylie Minogue headlined Amsterdam World Pride, when Madonna shouted out, "Are you in gay heaven?" I mean, I was just, yes, it was a resounding yes. Cody, we have a mutual friend,
Mhm.
Rod, shout out to Rod, that I was like, we are in gay heaven, right? I mean, what did you think of this?
It was so
Link?
great.
Yeah.
I love everything that she's doing right now. It's a great time to be a Madonna fan. I feel this way about every album, so it's nice to see it resonate with so many people. Very,
Yeah.
very cool. And the album is great. So the more that she does with it, the better. Apparently, the duet of her doing "Love Sensation" with Kylie will come out on Friday. It's like 6.5 minutes. Can't
Amazing.
wait for that. And
Yeah.
I also really hope that they did an additional new song together.
Me
The jury
too.
is still out if they did, but apparently there's 8 tracks of Confessions 2 that will be released before too long that were not part of the album. So
I
very
will.
excited.
I will echo. It's a great time to be a Madonna fan, especially
Totally.
it's her birthday month. She's going to be 68. I mean, who could say that about their icon all these years later? It's just amazing. I'm just elated every day when I put her music on the new album. But Cody, what did you think when you saw Kylie Minogue and Madonna on the same stage, World Pride Amsterdam? Kind of iconic.
Yeah, I had a gaygasm. It was just fantastic. Those are my girls. I love Madonna. I love Kylie. You can ask for anything more. I cannot wait for Love Sensation to come out, to be released. And yeah, there's nothing left to say. It's just fantastic. Those girls, those ladies, those beautiful women, they they make me go round and round. They make me spin round and round. That's a Kylie song.
Well, somebody else that was on tour but is taking a break, like but Ariana Grande is taking a step back from visibility after tour because of public scrutiny. People are. She's taking a step back from visibility after her Eternal Sunshine tour wraps on September 1st. It was going to go on. Uh, she looks forward to finishing the tour and ending it on a high note, but she's faced public scrutiny surrounding her weight, leading to the unplanned break. And she was also going to be on the West End on a new production, and she's also not going to do that either. People are really saying that she looks anorexic, and there's even anorexic groups that are praising her look. If you could believe that, so
Mm.
disgusting that you would praise someone's look. I don't know, Lincoln. What do you say to? I mean, her ending it so abruptly. I mean, it's. I'll just also say a lot of younger acts face a lot more scrutiny than back in the day. I mean, if you think about Justin Bieber, he was set to tour at one point and cut it short too because of mental illness. Uh, Justin Timberlake had something else going on. He ended his tour early. I mean, a lot of people, yeah. What do you say to this, Lincoln?
Well, I actually read a little different news. She is completing the tour completely. She's
Yeah.
not ending it early. She wasn't supposed to extend it. She was booked to do Sunday in the Park with George with Jonathan Bailey, the guy
Yes.
who played Fiero. And that is 8 shows a week in the West End in London. So there were 2 separate projects that has been put off now. I think it was supposed to be this summer that they were going to do it. She extended her tour. She's finishing the tour, but she's not doing the show. They're going to cast someone else in that. I, I, I get it. She's been blown out for a long time. She's been the Wicked promo, the grabbing of the finger with Cynthia El Rivo, she's had a lot of stuff coming at her. So I think it's good that she's taking a break, and I hope that she's healthy. I hope that she's has a team around her that is keeping her as healthy as possible. And we'll see what happens. But when you need a break, take a break. You know what I mean?
Yep, Cody.
Yeah, I agree with Lincoln. I hope that she's happy and healthy. And if she needs this time to take this time, I understand where she's coming from. Words have weight, and if you get constantly are getting picked on and ribbed about something, then it takes a toll on you. So if she needs this time to herself, then take it, girl. We need you healthy and happy, and because keep singing those songs because we love you, Arianka.
Yeah. The only thing that comes to mind from I don't think people should be coming for her unless, don't read the comments, as we always say. But the only thing that comes to mind is a singer back in the day, Karen Carpenter, and people wrote her off as, oh, she's fine, she's fine. And she ultimately did have anorexia and she did die. And it was a real thing. And I hope Ariana isn't suffering from this, but Karen was and died from it. And so I just, there could be something to it. I don't know. I'm by no means a doctor, and I hope she's not down that path. But it is a real thing that people suffer from. And people have come forth that have suffered from anorexia and see similarities and patterns that they see in Ariana. I don't know, but we'll see.
Also, like when Chadwick Boseman was going through his whole struggle because he had cancer, people were commenting about his weight, saying that he got too skinny, all these things, and you never
just
know what
never
somebody is
know.
going through. So
Yeah, you never know.
pipe down and just keep sending her positive thoughts and wishes and prayers if you pray. So because that's what they need more. She doesn't need you scrutinizing her and her weight.
Moving on to a well-known content creator has sparked a little bit of online debate over Provincetown, P-Town, as we like to call it, and Palm Springs. Who am I talking about? Jim Walker. He's a former TV news anchor, but he also is responsible for Seaplane Shirts. He started that regional director for Seaplane Shirts. You guys know that brand?
No.
I have a few of their shirts. They take, I wouldn't say recycled, but material that is at the end of its spooling, if you will, and oftentimes it's upholstery, and they reuse it and make really cool, fun shirts. I don't like all the shirts, but I have a few of them, and they're fun. There's stores in P-Town, and there was two in Palm Springs, now one, and one that opened up in San Francisco. Anyways, he kind of got himself into a little bit of a debate online when he wrote on Facebook, P-Town is an amazing place if you're on vacation and have unlimited amounts of money. Not so amazing if you're a worker bee on a budget over an extended period of time. Not so amazing when you miss the love of your life every single day. P-Town is great on a 4-day vacay, but even basic things are impossibly challenging. Walking a mile each way for groceries, finding an inch of space at the always packed and tiny Muscle Beach, finding a burrito for less than $25, and dealing with the constant judgment of East Coasters and a stick up their ass. Walker did highlight making a couple of new friends in the Massachusetts town, but he concluded, quote, I know for certain now I'll never take another trip alone of any kind lasting more than 2 weeks. I like stability, meal consistency, home life, and my kitty cat. So I'm coming home, desperate, homesick, missing my friends, my gym, and yes, even the extreme heat. I love and appreciate Palm Springs. Well, you could imagine that posting. I don't really post much on Facebook anymore, and part of it was for rants like this that would just go on, and I'm like, I did not turn this on to read your rant about something. I can hear him. I think places like P-Town, I've heard it, are expensive. Everything's expensive right now. P-Town is definitely, we hear from Jeremy Ross Lopez, our co-host, that, very expensive. A rant when you have a business in that town, probably not a good business move, if you will. I agree with him. What do you think about this, Lincoln?
Well, he said he met some friends. Hopefully he met a therapist. Jesus, like save it for, work out your feelings. Are you an adult? If are you 20 or are you 40? Right? Running a business costs money.
Yeah.
Sucks. Elections have consequences. Economies run on decisions outside of your control sometimes, and you need to adjust your business accordingly. But blaming people who come to P Town is probably not the best answer,
Yeah.
especially on social media. But some people like that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Some people just and I do think that fuels a lot of the negative cesspool of our society right now. That's the way some people communicate, and some people will love hearing all that and get deep in it. Yay!
Hmm.
Not my vibe.
Yeah, it's funny, Cody, though. I mean, in some ways, I agree with him. A friend of mine asked me yesterday, why weren't you at the Pines party? And I said, well, it's really expensive there, and you really have to have a place to stay. The tickets are expensive, and it's expensive. It's just,
Yeah.
I mean, but by all means, I wouldn't trash Fire Island, and
What's the point?
it's just the state of the world right now. Places like Mykonos, all these places are destinations, and they're almost, P Town's not an island, Mykonos is, but it might as well be an island. It's so far removed that it's everything is escalating, and when you have a business, it does make me consider, as I told you, seaplane shirts. I may, not want to buy a shirt now. I'm not, but I
Right.
mean, when it comes from the top down, that's not what I want to hear from a brand that I previously loved.
Yeah, I don't see the point in really complaining via social media about something unless they did you wrong, a business did you wrong personally. I don't see the point. I really don't think you complain to your friends. Like Lincoln said, complain to your therapist, complain to Oprah when Oprah had a show, because you remember in Sister Act where she was like, baby, save it for Oprah. I thought that's immediately what I thought of.
Unfortunately, we don't have Oprah anymore.
I mean, it would be
I
nice,
miss
right?
her every day.
I know, our Oprah moment.
4 o'clock
Yeah.
every day, we all came together. Could we even do that
Yes.
nowadays? I don't even think
Yeah.
we could with
I
streaming and
don't know.
everything else. It's
Uh,
crazy.
Yeah.
the view. We still
But
have
not
that.
Oh,
for
yeah, we get
nothing.
that.
If it was
Thank
cheap and
you.
it was overrun by everyone, he would be complaining about that.
Yeah.
There's too many
Oh,
people
good
here and
point.
everyone's cheap. So, like, people just love to project their own insecurities and sadness and frustration with life on other things. It helps detract from what they're going through. Like I said,
Yeah. The other
therapists.
thing, not to belabor this, because I want to move on to
Nope.
this next one, but it's you run a business, Lincoln. It's like when you're working on a project. I've worked in Miami before, where I vacationed in Miami, and then I was running an event. And work is work, and yeah, it's not going to be the same Miami experience if you're working an event, carrying furniture. The stress as of driving a truck that I didn't know how to drive in Miami as opposed to lying on the beach. It's a different experience. It's called work. And so I think it's a little misplaced, what he's talking about, but whatever, girl, we get it. Well, recently, moving on, people were discussing from full on birthday suits, close friends, sneak peeks, and lurking, but never postings. Gays reveal how much they share on social media. And once meant for eyes of the family and friends, social media is now an algorithmic free for all where anybody's post can end up in anybody's feeds for those seeking attention and affirmation. That can be great, but other times it can backfire. Earlier this summer, there was this horrible trend on X of gays piling on each other over the composition of their friend groups. Suddenly, gays who were just posting innocent group pics turned into the day's main character. Not good. With all the vitriol out there, some people understandably prefer to keep their online behavior on the DL, but others keep on posting, including all kinds of things. So, how much do you share on social media? I'll read a few, we'll discuss. Somebody wrote, me in my birthday suit. If you got it, flaunt it, said Mark in Glasgow. I show everything, says Charles in New York. Somebody else wrote, I recently made the decision to switch my close friends to gay only. It was the best decision I ever made. Now I'm uninhibited, says Derek in San Diego. Somebody said in DC, it depends on how many drinks I've had. If I've left the bars and want a little action, you may see something. How much do you show on Instagram, Lincoln?
Personally, I pulled way back.
Yeah.
I'm not posting as
I
much
saw a
as
lot
I
of
used to.
Madonna, disco ball, really sexy,
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you. Thank you. It was
Yeah.
fun, right? So I did like a brief shot after I'd been through a lot of health problems to say I'm back and stronger than ever. And then I did a fitness one celebrating my 30 years at Crunch Fitness. And
Oh,
I'm like 38 years in the fitness industry. So that was everything I do has a point or a message. Same with the disco ball set that I did. I met with a photographer. I had a creative idea and wanted to do it in real time, not in AI world, but in real world. And to do an old fashioned photo, it's old fashioned, but it's really not a real photo shoot with a photographer, and that was all inspired by Madonna. So I'm not just throwing up thirst pics to be popular to get likes. I try and have a focus behind it and why I'm doing it. And I'm also not posting that often. On the flip side, with Protein Bakery, the protein world has imploded, like exploded, and there are protein Pop Tarts and protein Doritos and protein
pancake mix.
everything. And all protein is not the same. There's a lot of lead in a lot of the proteins people are using. It's a lot of like uh what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, collagen protein instead of like a whey protein. And collagen protein doesn't do anything for your strength and your muscles.
Right.
It's not for your, your face or your skin elasticity. So because all protein is not the same, and I've been around for so long, my social media has really turned into explaining what the truth is and what is bogus so people can make the best decision, hopefully a little bit more educated, and also stating what my product is and what it's not, because I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. So I also have a bit of social media burnout of like, what am I keep doing all of these posts and all of this for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll
Mine has
put them
become
on the
a
side.
yeah, mine has become a lot for this show. It's social media, and we used to have not one but two separate Instagram accounts that, of course, got taken down due to the nature of sex. Even though we were just talking about it, not showing it, and they got taken down. So now I use my personal account to promote the show. Oftentimes, it's interviews that we do on Wednesday with some really great people that we continuously book, and they're insightful, and I edit them to get the best messaging out there on some of these experts, often gay related, but it's for our community. And I love that. I'm also married to somebody that loves to create TikTok and stories, that knows how to do it really well. And all I have to do is repost what he tags me in, and I'm usually in it. So it's like having my own producer. I love it. So
Oh,
that's kind of what I'm posting, and it's usually something fun with a cocktail in hand, and or a food group. We're usually cooking up a storm, but that's usually me, and we always are cooking or drinking. You, Cody, what are you posting? What's going on?
nothing. There's nothing on my Instagram where
Hmm.
I'm looking. No, I post a lot of thirst traps, but okay, I have tried to start curating it more to where it's more, I'm going to say, artistic, because I think photography is gorgeous, and I think that like male scantily clad men is my favorite type of art and photography. So I kind of want to emulate that with my Instagram. Also, like we've been saying this entire time, it's good for promoting yourself. It's good for promoting my music, and that's basically what I use it for nowadays. And I will be in my birthday suit in 2 seconds if it helps promote my music. So I mean, you don't even have to say anything about music, and I'll probably take off all my clothes. It's just I love my body so much.
And we love looking at it.
Thank
So
you. I hope you guys do,
absolutely,
'cause I'm
we
gonna be naked a lot more.
do.
I do
Uh,
love, I don't know if you've seen the post that Mel Robbins put up about social media. She said point blank, Instagram is not for your friends. It's for you to express who you are to circles outside your friends,
Mhm.
to
oh,
show your creativity and your passion for life outside of your friend group. If you want to show your friends something, text them directly,
Yeah.
but don't
yeah,
put it up on social media, which I think
I
is
like that.
important. because often I don't see someone for a year. I kind of follow them on social media and I still think that we're really close. But then usually when I see them and we really talk about what's going on in life, I realize, wow, I could be a better friend than just watching their live posts.
Yeah,
Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And actually
definitely.
engaging in them, not for the public, but for our true friendship.
Yeah, Mama Tits, drag queen in Puerto Vallarta, comes to mind. She just ended it because she did these little tits stories about her prostate cancer journey. And she just ended it because she is in remission, which is a great time to end it.
Thank
And
goodness.
and I would, whenever it came into my feed, I would sit there and listen. There were about, I don't know, 7 minutes and about her journey and what she was going through. And at the end of it, she would always say, "If you have a prostate, get it checked." And I always like that PSA moment that she would give. And now she's moving on to her own podcast, which I think is really great. It's a new
It's
chapter.
great.
Yay.
And that was informing her fans because she has an audience of what she was going through at the time, and now it's she ended that chapter and it didn't feel right to continue on that chapter, and now she's moving on to her podcast, which yeah, so we'll have her on soon. Somebody, one last hot topic. Somebody from my 80s past, Boy George, has pulled out of Jesus Christ Superstar role after his AI song Backlash. Boy George was going to be an upcoming production of Jesus Christ Superstar at London Palladium, and the 65-year-old was cast as King Herod in the West End revival. And he was scheduled to perform from August 3rd through the 15th. They're rotating actors into that role, but he's no longer going to be in it when his manager said he's pulling him out when Boy George released a single, an AI assisted song called We Will Dance Again, and the track supports Israel and denies the genocide in Gaza. In June, I don't know that Boy George would agree with that sentiment, but this is where I got this from. When he declared Israel is committing genocide and atrocity crimes by deliberately targeting Palestine children. Was this a good move for him to release a song like that that's AI generated, Lincoln, but also takes a stance on something that nobody's ever going to agree on? Israel, Palestine, what's going on in both of those parts of the world?
Yeah, I don't know the facts of this story like you just said, but I don't think any artist at this point should be leading with that foot unless they're really prepared for every aspect of that conversation to come back at them. And it's not like Boy George has been releasing an album every year for the past year, and this is just another album. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah,
a hard first step forward.
it's like
And
he came out
I
of
was a
retirement
huge
with
Boy
this.
George fan
Culture
way back
Club.
in the day, and saw him in Taboo, and I loved the musical Taboo, and like, but I haven't seen him for a while. I'm always just happy when I hear he's still sober. So
Right.
I don't know where we are in that world either for him. I know that he did like a reunion tour in the United States recently, and there was a culture club moment with some other bands, I believe, like Pat Bennett. I don't know. I'm speaking out
He's
of my ass,
released
but
music. It just hasn't maybe, you know, it's not a
hit.
household hit anymore.
Yeah.
But you bring up his controversy, and his controversy, Cody, was that also he was arrested in 2007 for also hiring a sex worker and then tying them up and putting like shackles on them. And that is what part of the controversy of this new song that people are like, "You're so tone deaf." What do you say to this and his controversy right now?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good thing that he pulled out of this because the AI, that's one thing. AI
Yeah,
music is just trash.
I
And there's something that
know.
came out
It's like
today
your
or
boy George.
yesterday.
It's like, come on.
Huh?
It's
What'd you
like your
say?
boy George. Like,
You're capable of
Yeah.
better for sure. Um, uh, I don't know now though. um, there was something that came out today about AI and how all the major record companies are trying to get them off the music charts. When I don't understand, just take them off of iTunes and all that uh, altogether. That'll alleviate any of the music chart, them being on any music charts. But also like the whole Palestine thing is way out of left field. I think, like Lincoln said, if you don't know or if you're not prepared for backlash, you need to keep your nose out of that. And I feel like you can't deny that all these people have been that are dead. So I don't understand where he's coming from with this, but I'm glad that he pulled out because he's going to be under fire for a long time. I feel like because of all the things that he's choosing to address with this one song. Like you choose the two things that are the most like
I
controversial and divisive right now,
know.
and you want to put it out with that. Oh, okay, yeah, no,
But
It's really is tone deaf too because actresses. There was an actress that was going to be in Halloween, and she said a couple "Free Palestine," something like that, and was they fired her
they
from
fired her.
Halloween?
Yeah,
Yeah, and other stories like that. It's like. Have you been living under a rock? Why is this your single of the summer? I mean, here we have Madonna Lincoln putting out dance music, and the dance floor is a place to free yourself and escape and all this great stuff. And then you've got like an AI generated Boy George single that reggae also. Okay, Boy George,
is it
that's
reggae
about
too? Oh
yeah,
no,
that is
he really is
about
missing the mark.
the controversy of Palestine, and Israel.
yeah, I don't. What I was going to say is I don't know if he's a voice in this on a consistent basis over the past year. So this song makes sense with what he's been doing. Like I wouldn't know. Like this to me is completely out of left field. Like I think all three of us are agreeing, but I don't know if he makes a weekly post or says things that are in alignment with the song that he just released. I wouldn't know. You know
His
what I mean? But
defense
if
his defense was that I have a lot of Israeli friends, and that was my point. Just I'm not going to apologize for having friends from Israel, but like okay, but
okay,
yeah, I don't
all right.
know.
Yeah,
Well,
me
yeah,
reggae
Put
to
on
deny genocide
confessions
is
again, and
wild.
we'll let it go.
yeah, exactly.
Who was listening to him anyway, besides Culture Club?
Oh my
Now,
God.
definitely not.
Okay. We love giving advice, and today is no different. And this one was to Jake, a popular person that gives advice. But let's give our take on it. When the person wrote a few weeks ago, I attended the funeral of an ex boyfriend. We'd been broken up for years, and he was in a long term relationship when he passed away. His partner was kind enough to invite me because he wanted everyone important in my ex's life to have a chance to say goodbye. Okay. The service itself was beautiful and emotional. Afterward, though, there was more of a celebration of his life. There was
Aw.
food, drinks, and stories. My ex was one of those magnetic people who seemed to know everyone. So there were a lot of friends, former coworkers, former dates, and other exes there. He was a truly loved and beloved man. As the night went on, I started talking to a guy. What are you at a wedding now? I'd never met before. He told me he knew my ex through work. We were currently drunk and ended up going outside, making out, and eventually hooking up in my car. One of my friends saw what happened. Word spread fast, and the next thing I knew, several of them were tearing into me. They said it was a slap in the face to hook up at the gathering of my ex. The thing is, I really don't think my ex would have cared. If anything, he was the kind of person who loved seeing people he knew connect. He has always introduced friends to one another, and honestly, think he would have found the whole thing more amusing than offensive. It's not like I skipped the service or treated the day like a joke. I genuinely came to honor him. Was this wildly inappropriate? Do I owe friends an apology, or are they making this into something bigger than it really was? Lincoln, it does kind of go back to America and the prudishness that we are living in.
Mind your
Anyway,
business.
yeah.
Like, just
I'm,
mind your business. Like, why would anyone have an editorial about reminiscing about someone that's passed and then like having one too many drinks and making out? I don't know. I hope at my funeral there's a lot of hookups. I don't know what to say. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Come on. Like, I do know people from all over the country, all over the world. And if they connect somehow. Like they weren't doing it, in front of everyone, I'm assuming.
Right.
You know,
In the
I don't know.
car, to be fair. And sometimes that word inappropriate, Cody, it's just like it stands for puritanical in so many ways. It's like if you say inappropriate to me, I'm like, it makes me want to like be more of what they are saying, accusing me of. But that's just my rebel side, I guess.
Yeah.
Listening to too much of Madonna. What do you say to this?
First of all, I want to tell Lincoln, don't worry, I will hook up at your funeral. Don't.
I'm sure you will.
At least one person.
You know, Lincoln's got a lot of hot friends, and it would be like, but we're
celebration of life orgy. What is happening?
Hey, let's do it. I am in
an orgy of life, a celebration of orgy. I don't know. There's a name for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see how people will be offended because, like, funerals are supposed to be sad, but you know what? Then I think about different people express grief and they process grief in different ways. So maybe he was just sad, and the only way to cheer him up was to hook up in his car. So you never know. Don't judge people. Who knows? You could be in that position at any point in any time. So let it go. It's not your business.
Yeah, it's like they never said at what stage of life this person left us. And all I can think about is the last funeral I went to, which was in June, for my uncle who was 93. And it really was a celebration of life. We celebrated him. We laughed. We celebrated all. He was an amazing man, uncle, father, citizen, did so much for the community in where he lived in LA. And I like that idea. Now, if it was a tragic death that occurred, perhaps the mood could be a little bit more solemn if somebody dies tragically. But it sounds like this guy lived a full life.
It's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah. The other thing I'll say, to remember that empathy is always the key, right? It sounds like maybe the people being very critical of this behavior were having a hard time dealing with the grief that they were going through.
Like looking at the other side of it.
Yeah, like if you are really upset and you're really mad and you miss the person that passed and you're kind of stuck there, what's the easiest way to get out of that is to criticize someone else's behavior. And if someone else's behavior is actually hooking up at the celebration of life, it's kind of a target.
Yeah. Right. In your anger.
Right.
And,
in your own depression and sadness, it's, you're never bad, they are. That's like, again, therapy is a powerful tool. So hopefully people, and so is grief therapy. Hello. So, so is
I'm
sex
telling you
therapy.
guys, I want a celebration of life. I want a party.
At your funeral,
I want good food. You can hook up.
Orgy or the poppers will be given out on the way out the door.
I'm not leaving anytime soon that I check.
You guys can hook up at my funeral too. Okay.
Oh my God. Hopefully none of us are going anywhere anytime soon.
On the
we do have to leave this episode because we all have lives to lead.
We were just getting rolling. I know.
I know.
1 hour. No,
there is a slot machine with Cody's name on it in Atlantic City, and you
call
can
my friend.
Go slip into it. Follow Cody on the gram at Mr. Maurice, and as well as Blue Sky at Mr. Maurice. Follow Lincoln at his Protein Bakery at Protein Bakery. Of course, his personal account at Mad Lincoln. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. And in the meantime, continue having hot
gay Madonna sex.
The sex book.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.